Hot off the production line, we have Alpine's latest car audio head unit, a worthy successor to the ever-popular iLX-W670. Allow us to introduce you to the all-new and enhanced iLX-W670. In this video, we will thoroughly explore all the features and highlight the improvements made. Stick around as we take you through a full demonstration and review of Alpine's iLX-W670. Hey, what's up? Josh here from Breaker Stereo and Performance. Welcome to our channel that reviews all the best in car audio, performance, suspension, and more, because we don't drive stock. And if you're like us, where stock just doesn't cut it, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Okay, so we are approaching almost 5 years since the iLX-W650 originally came out. And we have sold tons of these radios. And this radio actually originally was priced at $299. And during COVID and the chip shortage, this radio retailed for as high as $450. That's a 50% increase from its original price back in 2019. Now, Alpine is dedicated to keeping the new unit, the iLX-W670, down to only $299. Pretty amazing, since we've gone through hyperinflation over the last couple years. Plus, they have actually improved upon this model. Now, I'm not going to name any names. There are manufacturers out there that have taken radios and cheapened them up with inferior hardware and software and left them in the same series. So let's see what Alpine has done. But I read on the website and talked to my rep, and they said they have made some improvements when it comes to sound processing and also user interface. Now, we literally just got this in and I haven't taken one out yet to mess around with it. So we're gonna do this together. But before that, let's check out the specs. Okay, so this is a 7-inch touchscreen with a resolution of 800 by 480. And this is a shallow mount doubled in. You have 5 key color illuminations: red, green, blue, amber, and white. And unlike the W650, you can customize the background. This has wired Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto, and also includes Bluetooth for hands-free calling and music transfer. It's Sirius XM ready, tuner sold separately, and steering wheel control ready, module sold separately. Now, this is compatible with Alpine's power stack, either the KTA200M, which is a monoblock, or the KTA450, which is a 4-channel, and this will mount directly on the back of the radio. And shortly, we will be doing a video on those amplifiers, so stay tuned for that. Now, this is a new feature that they added, which is the Lightning Link control, and this will allow you to control the lighting on Alpine's Prism Link subwoofers, which have not been released yet. But from what I understand, they're subwoofers that are preloaded, that have LED lighting on it, that you will be able to control from this radio. And they did add a sound boost menu that gives you bass boost and mid boost. Okay, so one thing I did notice is you did lose the front camera input, but they do give you a 3.5 millimeter AV aux input that can be used for a camera as well. And there is a dedicated rear camera input along with the USB input. And the 4-volt pre-out follows suit with the 650, giving you front, rear, and sub. Built-in amplifier is 16 watts RMS times 4, and this does have a 13-band equalizer and 6-channel time correction, along with front, rear, and subwoofer crossovers. Now, the audio playback on the USB includes AAC, FLAC, MP3, and WMA. Now, this will also play video playback on the USB, AVC files, FLV, MPEG-4, MKV, and MOV. Okay, let's unbox. All right, so you have your owner's manual and your product registration for your warranty. So let's go over the cables real quick. All right, so the first thing, as mentioned earlier, you do get that GPS antenna, which I think is key. There are no other radios that I can think of, as far as name brand, that come with the GPS antenna for your navigation. Kenwood, Pioneer, JVC, and Sony do not come with it. At this price point, you have to go up a couple levels in order to get that, so you get that with this, so that's great. All right, USB extension here, microphone, okay, our main harness, hardware, okay, metal plate for your GPS antenna, and then this is your harness for your pre-outs and your inputs. So let's take a look at this real quick. All right, so they went back to the, I guess we call this a green output. Now, on all your Alpine radios that have 4-volt pre-outs, they were notorious for coming with these green outputs, so they give you this on the 650. Didn't have that, not a big deal as far as, you know, consumer standpoint is concerned, but I guess for us installers and for us sales guys, this does indicate to us that this does have 4-volt pre-out. Okay, rear camera input here. This is the speed sensor, okay, for your navigation. So this is the lighting link wire here, all right. Aux input, and this was, again, as mentioned earlier, it's AV, so you have audio and video. Now you can use it for AV input for source unit, you can use it for a backup camera, or if you just want to use it for just strictly audio, you can do so. Then you have some steering wheel wires here. Okay, now let's take a look at the unit. All right, so double DIN shallow mount, as mentioned earlier. The front of it looks very similar to the W650. All right, so you have your main harness here, your camera and your pre-out section here. That's the Series XM input, microphone, GPS antenna input, and then your radio input. Now the USB is recessed, so that's nice. And the reason why that is nice is, let's say for instance, you're installing this and you don't have a lot of depth behind there. Instead of having it stick out like that, you can input it here and then you can flatten it like that so you have more depth. Okay, let's go ahead and fire this thing up. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at both of these side by side. The 650 is on the right, 670 on the left. So this is real time. And the 670 loads up much quicker than the 650. So that actually took kind of long for the 650 to come up. So the chipset is better on this. That's what was mentioned to me. So that's good. So we're off to a good start. Okay, so let's check this out. Now, just right off the bat, you can tell the user interface is a lot better. The 650 is a little remedial, very basic. 670, a little bit nicer. And then we can also swipe here. So that's really good. On the 650, we were not able to do that. So there's no swiping capabilities here. So that's a huge plus. Love that. And the home screen does look better. You have everything that you need here. You have the radio, CarPlay, Android Auto, USB, iPod, Series XM Bluetooth, and phone, versus the old one, okay, where it doesn't mention Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, even though it does have that. I believe when you plug it in, this will populate either the Apple icon or the Android icon. Okay, let's go into menu. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple key things here before we just switch over to the 670. Let's go ahead and go into sound. Here, sound. All right, so this is the new menu, very similar to the other brands that are out there, Kenwood, JVC, and Pioneer. Whereas this, you have your menu right in front of you here. On this, you have the buttons on the top. Here, you're able to scroll. Okay, let's go into EQ settings. All right, this is one thing I did not like about the EQ on the 650. All right, so you do have some presets there, but that's only for the bass, mid, and treble. In order to get to the advanced EQ, you have to hit advanced here, and then you go to PEQ, and then here you have only a 9-band equalizer. Now, this was a parametric EQ, so you were able to pick the frequencies that you wanted to boost within that band. But as far as EQing is concerned, you have to select the band and then go up and down. Okay. On the new one, you're able to move it around like some of the other ones. So that's cool. I like that feature versus this one. So let's take a look at the crossover here. Let's take a look at the options here. So we have 25 Hertz. 32, 40, 50, 63, 80, 100, 125, 160, 200, and 250. On the old one, we have, probably goes to 250. Okay, it only goes to 200. So you get a little higher on the new one, so that's good. And I don't see a slope here, whereas here I do see a slope. So you can pick the slope on the old one, which is nice. So you can go up to 24 dB. This one's gonna be probably, I'm gonna guess, without calling anyone, I'm gonna guess this one's probably set at 12 dB for the mids and highs, and maybe 18 on the low pass, but there is no selection there. Let's take a look here, speaker level. All right, so you have speaker level controls here, which is cool. I don't think you have that on here from what I recall. It's just simply balance and fade, okay? All right, what else? Let's take a look at time alignment or time correction. All right, so we have our time correction here. All right, so pretty similar there, not too much different. And I think one of the bigger things we're gonna notice here is on the screen. Okay, so let's take a look at the screen and the lighting. Here you can select the color that you want or the background. So you have a few to choose from here. This does not have that whatsoever. You cannot change any of that. There are no visual screen options. So you're just kind of stuck with whatever it is. So the new one actually stepped up and we have those options. Let's just go ahead and take a look at the 670 on its own. All right, so we're back, just the 670 on display now. Let's take a look at some of the other features this has to offer. Now let's take a look at this button here on the top. I know on the other iLX software, 507, 509, 511, you tap that and then you get a sound menu. So this does give you a bit of a sound menu. You do have your sound boost, which is the bass boost, the mid boost, okay, and then if you hit that button, that will take you to your sound setup, looks like, and that'll take you to that menu. All right, so let's go back. Then you have subwoofer on or off, and then you also have subwoofer level, including phasing. The lighting link is here on this menu as well. So if we touch that there, then as mentioned earlier, if you get an Alpine box that has the lighting link, then you're able to control that lighting from the radio, which is pretty cool. I like that. And then you have a couple different colors you can choose from, okay? You can also control the brightness, lightning speed. So I guess maybe the lightning speed will go with the music, possibly. And then you also have your other lighting here. That covers that. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at, oh, I missed this earlier. So you do have your other auxiliary input and the camera. And to cover again on the auxiliary input, there's audio and video. You can use it as a camera, or you can use it to display audio video on the screen. If you want to get directly to your camera, you just hit that button right there. That takes you directly to the camera, which we don't have hooked up right now, obviously. Let's go into the menu and see what we got. So let's go system setup. You have beep on or off, language, time adjust, your product information, licensing software, okay, also product info. This is going to give you your firmware. So every now and then you want to check to see if your firmware is up to date. If it's not, you can do that on Alpine's website, of course. And connection status. Okay, so that's cool. I like this. On the other iLXs, they do offer something very similar. It'll check to see if your GPS antenna is hooked up or not. All right, and you have other things here as well. I think the other iLX software is definitely more complex than this, but this does give you something, so that's good. And then you do have steering wheel control here. So if this was activated and you were programming the unit, the steering wheel control, then you can do that from there. Okay, so let's go back, and then we have screen and lighting. You have your dimmer, either auto, or you can set the day, night. Gonna probably want to just set that to auto. You have your day brightness, your night brightness, and also your screen color. So you can choose from these colors here: blue, red, amber, green, white, or you can customize one by uploading an image to the USB drive and then selecting it from there. Okay, next, that's gonna do it for that. Let's go next to sound. We kind of covered this already, but let's go through it. So you have your fader, bass and treble, so bass, mid, treble. Then you have your EQ setting, whatever this already. And then you do have presets. I didn't mention that, so you do have the presets there. And then your crossovers, which we already went over. And then your speaker level. Here you can choose to increase or decrease the certain speaker. So this gives you more control over the radio, over the speakers, other than just balance and fade. Time correction, okay, we already reviewed that. Oh, and then you do have subwoofer. Now you get that in that other menu, the main menu from the top, and you also can control it here, this menu right here. So you do have that there as well. So it's a little easier just to kind of get to that using that button there. All right, let's go back. Okay, next, volume. And this gives you separate volume for the ringtone, talk, the voice and navigation. Okay, all right, let's scroll down. And then we have rear camera. Here you can turn on or off, mute while backing up, which is cool. And then you can adjust the guidelines here if you want. And then you also have your video setup. All right, so let's talk about video setup. So in here, basically, it's just gonna give you your brightness, color, and contrast on. Nothing much else than that, okay? Okay, and let's go ahead and take a look at the smartphone control. Since I have an iPhone, we'll just check out the Apple CarPlay. Now, Apple CarPlay, of course, is the same across the board. Most people are familiar with it. I do want to make mention that is very responsive. So that's good, so I like that. And the last thing I want to mention on this is that the hard buttons are flush. So you do have those flush buttons there. So easy access to your volume, the mute, and also the main menu, and then the phone call if you want to answer a phone call, and then also the microphone. If you touch that right there, that will activate Siri if you have Apple, or it will activate Google Assist if you have an Android. Okay, that will do it for the demo. All right, pros and cons. Now pros, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto at a reasonable price. 4-volt pre-out, which no other name brand unit gives you at this price point. 13-band EQ and time alignment. Also the addition of the GPS antenna for accurate navigation. The lighting link control, allowing you to control the Alpine Prism Link subwoofers. And I really like the new user interface, especially over the old 650. And now cons. Now keep in mind, this is only priced at $299. But if I had to mention something, it would be the absence of the front camera that the 650 had, but you do get the AV input, so it's more versatile. You can use it as a front camera input or source to watch and listen to video. And that's why I'm giving this radio a full 5-star rating. Now I believe it's the best brand name radio at this price point. And there really isn't a close second. Now, if you're interested in this radio, we'll leave a link in the description below, taking you directly to the product page. Now, remember, we do have financing available. Simply add to cart, pick a financing option, get approved, and we'll send your radio out to you ASAP. Okay, that'll do it. My name is Josh. I'm with Breaker Stereo and Performance. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.